Well, of course, on the day I'm supposed to go live again for the first time, I end up running 3 minutes late. Ain't that the way life goes? Oh my gumdrops. I had not anticipated being here on this day. I really had not, if I can be honest with you. You want to know why I'm here? Hotel. Yeah. So I remember saying that I was done with Beyond the Page. I felt like I needed to do something different. I felt like I needed to go and, like I needed to move in a new direction. Like I really felt that in that moment. And so I don't think Hotep saw the announcement. And so he reached out to me and was like, "You not doing Beyond the Page? Like what's going on?" And I said to him, I was like, "No, I'm not doing that, blah, 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 blah." But then the more I thought about it, I was like, but I gotta do it. Like, don't get me wrong, I am not here out of a sense of obligation, but the good fight is now a church. And the worship services are on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8. Like, that's what I wrote into the information. Like you have to, it's a whole long thing. If you want to set up a nonprofit, it's a whole long thing. So the guidelines, the bylaws, the constitution, whatever words you use for that, I wrote in that on Tuesday nights from 7, that is when we worship. We're not trying to get have a brick and mortar church. We're not trying to have 1,000 members at a brick and mortar church. Like we're not trying to do that. What we're trying to do is gather together to wrestle with our faith and the manifestation of our faith, especially in times like these. Like that's what it's all about. And so when he said that, I was like, if I stop beyond the page, then I'm gonna stop the church. And if I stop the church, I'm lying to the government. And if I'm lying to the government, that ain't gonna end well for me. And look, I'm trying to live my best abundant life, baby. That's what I'm trying to do. So I've been thinking a lot about it, and so here I am. But when I put up the flyer, it says that it's the reboot. It's beyond the page, it's the reboot. Because I felt like before, I don't think I felt like I really had a sense of direction that guided me from week to week to week. Like I feel like I had a sense of direction that guided me that week, and then I have a sense of direction that guides me the next week and the next week. But in terms of a continuity, in terms of a vision, I felt like I was floundering a little bit. And so I was like, look, if we're gonna do this again, we need to do it a different way. And so here's the vision for Beyond the Page, the reboot. Well, first, let's talk about that. So, the Good Fight is the name of the church. And so, Beyond the Page is now a ministry that's underneath, that's upheld, that's supported, that's undergirded by the Good Fight. And so, the way that it shows up on the flyer is that it's powered by the Good Fight. And so, the Beyond the Page is asking us to think beyond, let me think of another word beyond the page. Whatever we read in the Bible is what it is. It's frozen language. You cannot change it. However, there are ways that you can engage with it. There are different ways that you can interpret it. There are ways that you can revisit it that gives you new insight, that breathes new life into you. And so that's what Beyond the Page is about. And it's also rooted in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6, that talks about it is the letter that killeth, but the Spirit is what gives life. So we're reading what's in the Bible, and it is killing our understanding. It is dimming the shine of our wisdom as it relates to God, because we are focusing only on language that is frozen in a whole nother time, a whole nother context, a whole nother culture, a whole nother language. Like that is just simply not who we are anymore. But the Bible can still speak to us if we go beyond the page and allow the spirit of the page, the spirit of our faith, the spirit of the gospel to speak to us. So that's what Beyond the Page is about. It really reminds me of Dr. King. because Dr. King talks about the arc of the gospel, which bends toward justice. So don't just look at the Bible right here and right now, but what is the Bible seeking to do? What is the gospel all about at the end of the day? If we follow the trajectory of it and we look to see what the end is going to be, what is that as opposed to what we see? Because what we see is a lot of exclusion. We see a lot of war. We see a lot of trauma. We see a lot of evil. We see a lot of all of that, yes, in the Bible. But is that what the Bible wants us to glean from it? And that's all. And of course, the answer to that is no. The Bible is, listen, we're dealing with humanity. Humans wrote it. Humans are experiencing it. Humans are living it. Humans are preaching it. Humans are proselytizing. Humans are even proselytizing, meaning that we're trying to convert other people into our faith. People are evangelizing. I mean, I'm going from place to place to place to get you to understand what this gospel is all about. Like, there's a whole big thing, but it all is all centered and rooted in humanity. And so, because of that, we have to be careful to say, wait a minute, let's not get caught up in the humanity of the word, but look beyond that page to what the good news of the gospel speaks to us in this time and in this place and in this moment and in our hearts and minds and souls. Because what the gospel is saying to me may not necessarily be what the gospel is saying to you. And I'm not asking for us to be on the same page with that. The only thing I'm asking us to be on the same page with is that the Bible is more than what we read. And that's what Beyond the Page, the reboot is about. Well, no, that's what Beyond the Page is about. The reboot is about this vision where I'm saying, okay, this is what's going to drive me every single week to pull out, to select, to extrapolate a passage of scripture that speaks to us in a way where we're like, so did they write the Bible to support this injustice, this injustice? Like, I really am on the reboot thinking about the Bible as the political document that it is. I've said that a couple of times, but I really haven't leaned into it. And now I'm leaning, look, y'all know how I am. Now I'm leaning into it. The Bible is it was all at the time that it was curated, it was a political moment, the Nicene Council. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about what it is that we're looking at that's harming us, that's traumatizing us. Let's see how those dots are connected with the very Bible that we read. And so that is why I have chosen for today. I have chosen for today this particular topic that speaks to me directly. It may or may not speak to you. I'm not sure. But it speaks to me directly. It's called Fat. Here it is right here. Let me put the picture up. Fat, fine, and bald. Fat, fine, and bald. Beauty standards in the Bible. This is in 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 23 through 25. 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 23 through 25. So let's talk about a little bit how I got here. So I am not one who purchases on who purchases? It's something on here talking about purchases. I do not post on Facebook elements of my daily life. I do post on Facebook a lot. I'm going to post my flyers. I'm going to post my art. I'm going to repost something that I think is worth thinking about, something that I think is worth digesting, especially something that's from people who the world identifies as white, where they are practicing what it looks like and modeling for us what it looks like to be and to live as an anti-racist. I don't mind saying this out loud that it is impossible for white people not to be racist. That is not all demeaning. That is not all judgmental. That is me picking fruit. If you grow up as a privileged person in a racist world and you are the one on the side of privilege, you don't realize that. It's not, you are thinking that the world is like the life that you are living is the life other people living, like bloop 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 bloop. This is what we do. We have these what do you call them? We got a cabin out on the lake we go to every year, and we go and we play and we in the water, we doing this, that, and all of these things. And like, you're not thinking anything about that. And I'm not asking you to on its face. Like, I'm not asking you to judge your life. But the fact of the matter is, all of what I just that little bit that I just said, because I didn't say much, but that little bit that I just said, that's privilege in this world that uses your privilege to negatively affect other folks. And so at some point in your life, as a person who the world identifies as white, something has to happen to make you say, like, wait, what now? Wait, children don't have access to a cabin? No. Children don't have access to water? No. Children don't have access to food? No. So we got two houses and some people don't have any? Not one? That is correct. Wait a minute, I got a comment. Who's on the line? Oh my goodness. Hey, Takia. You know what? Somebody said this about me the other day. I'm just silly. I'm just silly. I love doing that. Hey, Takia. Okay, Takia, listen. Let me say this. The third week of July, I'm coming to Jackson. I don't know which day, but I know I'm coming. I got an Ethiopian Bible in my trunk that belongs to you, that was purchased for you by Kenyon Lowe Sr. You know Lowe, because he wore you out that day. You know what I'm talking about. And I done asked you, but you ain't answered me. Is I'm dropping it off at your mama's school? Is I'm dropping it off at your mama's house? Is I'm mailing it to you in the mail? You gonna wait till I come to Dallas? I will come to Dallas. As a matter of fact, hey, road trip. But you need to give me some counsel, ma'am, on how you gonna get this Bible. Because it's a whole Bible in a box. Like, I thought it was a Bible that he had, like, at his house somewhere. Man. He done ordered this for you and for me, but I done took mine out the box. Don't play with me. So can I get some counsel? Takia said, I love it. You and I have a good laugh session. You know what? The Bible says, it does say this about how healing laughter is. And we don't laugh enough. Don't get me wrong. The world does not create enough opportunities for us to laugh. But when I tell you, I bet you I can tickle myself. I bet you I can tickle myself. And I do that on a regular basis. You said, like, yeah. Listen, I just told somebody this today. If you don't know, now you know. You did not know nothing about no law before you start showing up in this space, but I bet you know now. But yes, I have that Bible. Tell me what you want me to do. And so I'm here now to talk about, so for white people to finally realize, hey, there is this world that I'm living in that privileges me, but I didn't know that. And honestly, there are some people who actually feel like, I had a friend named Braden. I should reach out to Braden. Where is Braden? Who was like, I don't even want the privilege. I don't even want to be white. Take it from me. Take it all. And even though I appreciated the sentiment, that's just not how it works. I can't take your privilege, but you can use it in a way that benefits us all. And so that becomes a conversation. And so, oh, wait a minute. Taki was like, bring it to, girl, you ain't said nothing but a word. Let's talk about July, August. Let's talk about the third week in August, because it's the third week. I don't have to go to the radio station on the third Thursday. So that frees me up. And so that's always my go-to. So look at your calendar for the third week of August, because this is July starts tomorrow. So that, because I already got something planned for the third week in July. I'm going to Jackson, I think. Yeah, I think I just said that. And so, yeah, let's see if we can make it happen, baby, because I got car wheel travel. And I hope going from Arkansas to Dallas takes me to a Crystal Burger. Because every time I go to Memphis, every time I go to Jackson, I'm going to get me a Crystal Burger. Do y'all got Crystal Burgers? And so that's what Beyond the Page, the reboot, is about. It's about taking a look at how we can connect the dots between this political document of the Bible and the injustice that we are experiencing now. And so the Bible is actually supporting the injustice. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. And so that's what the reboot is about, show connecting the dots between the Bible and how we can, I mean, legitimately use it to justify injustice, but then ask ourselves, but is that what we want to do? Is there a way to undo that? Like, let's really talk about it. And so here is I don't know, did I show this already? Fat, fine, and bald, beauty standards and the Bible. This is from Second Kings chapter 2, verses 23 through 25. And of course, you do know that I have those verses ready for us to read together because I am always that one. It bothers me when I go to a church and it ain't no Bibles in the pew. And I know everybody be like, well, you got your phone? Well, no, everybody don't know how to use their phone. It's still some older people. They don't know how to download no apps. And if they do and download the app, they keep talking about technology makes our life easier and it makes it more convenient. I swear for cheese and crackers, I feel like I click way more buttons with technology than I ever had to pick, that I ever had to push when it was just me interacting with a human. And so with most older people, like by the time you get through, I got to press one for English. I got to press two if I want to talk about residential as opposed to commercial. I got to press three if I already know what my problem is. I got to press four if I don't even know what my problem is. I got to press five if I still just want to keep speaking in English. And then I got to press six to tell you all my. Come on now. And so when there's no Bible in the pew, I'm like, what are we doing? You want the people to depend on the words coming out of your mouth, whoever you are in the pulpit. No, I need to see for myself. And so I am screaming. I don't even know if we have them, but I sure hope you find one somewhere along the way. Like, what you mean you don't know if y'all got a crystal? What kind of hamburgers is you eating? Listen, I like I said this today on the radio station. I have come to realize that I prefer growing up in America, I prefer fake food. I know for a fact that meat that you get at that Crystal Burger, that ain't no real meat. I know that even if I choose an Impossible Whopper, that ain't no real fake meat. And so what y'all eat? You eating Whoppers? You eating Wendy's? You eating Big Macs? What you mean you don't know if y'all got no crystal? Girl, I'm feeling some kind of way. It's so funny. This is the title of the reboot. I saw you on live and literally said, wait, is this the reboot? Because I had stopped. I was like, I don't know if anybody else has ever felt like that. Like, why am I even doing this? Does anybody even care? Does it even matter? Is anything happening? Like, what is the point? But when I tell you Lo was like, so you just gonna stop? Like, you just done. And I'm like, yeah. But then I was like, maybe not. Let me go back and read this paperwork. Let me go back and read what I done submitted to the federal government. I mean, I got a whole TIN. I got a whole number that I gotta focus on. So yeah, here I am. And so here goes. Oh, so Takia just said, okay, I got you there. And so when I'm thinking about, I said, wait a minute, she said, nah, baby, I definitely need you to come see me. Take you to One and Only and get you a burger. One and Only? I ain't never heard of One and Only. But what was that place I went to? Is it something like Up Burgers? One and Up? I went, I think I was in Dallas when I went there. But it wasn't one. Oh, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like, it seemed like it's called Up. One and Up, Up and Out, Over and Under. I don't know. I don't want no burger. I don't want, if it ain't no Crystal Burger, I don't want no burger. Take me to get something else. But if it's Crystal, I'm gonna get me two double cheese crystals, and then I'm gonna get me four regular crystals. And that's gonna last me, like, if I usually come back on a Saturday. That's gonna last me the whole week, baby. I'm gonna be eating crystal every day for a whole week. You hear me? And it's gonna be about $13. Tell me I ain't got it figured out. tell me I ain't got it figured out. And so I was thinking about my life and how I do not do a lot of posting on Facebook. I will never do a lot of posting about my personal life on Facebook because honestly, I don't get it for myself. But I do love to see other people. Takia, when you said somebody said your baby, your son can have a dog. It's okay, look at me. That was me. But listen, so I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm not saying I don't love it when people post about their lives. I really do. I get all the way in on it. It's just not something that I am used to doing. And I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. But one of the things that keeps coming up these days is about the GLP-1s, right? Like the many of us have taken these strides to lose weight with the GLP-1s. We're taking injections. Now it's in pill form. Like all, and somebody said, what is the tall man? I'm talking about 7 foot tall man who became a jack. He taking something now too. And so I wait a minute. She said over and under. Oh, she said one, this is Takia. One and only is a local spot, not a chain. You're talking about in and out. I told you I could tickle myself. So I was right. I went to Dallas for a photo shoot, a professional photo shoot, which wasn't professional at all, but don't get me in charge. Then I said I'm going to Ross Dress for Less while I'm here. I'm gonna swing by TJ no Michaels so I can look at my art supplies. And I keep hearing about this in and out. I'm gonna stop by there. Yeah, over and under. I told you I will tickle myself, baby. Tickle myself. I couldn't think of the name of that in and out. And so people do not know until they see me. It happened on last Saturday. I went to an estate sale. Somebody recommended to me, hey, they're having an estate sale. I think you should go and see. They really wanted me to go see the art. And I done told them, I'm no longer putting other people's art on my wall. That's not true. If it's an installation that I'm doing in my home in order to promote a local artist, yes, I will do that. But in terms of you coming in and perusing the walls and seeing all the art, that's gonna be my art, boo boo. It's gonna be my art, boo boo. And so she wanted me to go see the art, but I was looking at other stuff. And so when I was there, I saw somebody that knew me from back in the day, like from a couple of years ago. And she walked up to me and was like, hey, you know me from blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and then she reminded me where I know her from. And I'm like, oh my goodness, yes. And she was like, but I wasn't sure that was you. Well, of course, because I look different from 2 years ago. But then later on, as we started walking around in this big, huge mansion together, I was like, but you look different too. Both of us have been on this weight loss journey. And one of the things that I have, and so I did not post that. I did not say, look, hey y'all, I'm tired of being so Takia says, I know that's right. Why wouldn't it be your art on your walls? Honestly, Takia, I used to have other people's art on my walls. I did. It was my mama. My mama who did not, when I was a child, think of art as being a viable profession. I'm not mad at her at all. I grew up with parents who wanted the best for their children, and what they felt like was the best was for them to be able to have a stable job that came with insurance. It came with a living wage. It came with insurance. It came with time off. Like that's what they were concerned about. And to them, being an artist, it does not fit that bill. Because before I even said I wanted to do visual art, well, I never told my parents that, but before I said it to myself, I did tell them I wanted to major in speech and dramatic arts. They were like, "You ain't doing that. You finna be a teacher." I don't wanna be no teacher. And guess what? I was a teacher. But I'm so glad because that's how I met. Hey, Takia. Yeah. And so I decided that no, I didn't decide anything. So y'all, my mama was living with me from about 2018 until her energy shifted in 24. Yeah, because it'll be 2 years this year. So in 24. So she was living with me for 6 years. And so she was in on my life. I'm talking about the depth, the intricacies of my life. So at this point, she's in her 80s. So I already know what the intricacies of her life used to be. And so it's like we're getting to know each other woman to woman, not mother to daughter, but woman to woman. And one day my mama said, why you got these other people art on your wall? Where your art? Put your art on the wall. And honestly, for me, it wasn't even about putting my art on my wall. It was about my mama recognizing the value of my art. That's what it was about. And so I was like, you ain't saying nothing but a word, Missy, because that's what she called me. Like when my mama feeling some kind of way about you, she called you Missy. So I'm like, that Missy, you ain't saying nothing but a word. And so Takia says, well, thank goodness you became a teacher. If you didn't, how would we hoot and holler? How would we hoot and holler? And how would I be doing Zumba if I wasn't working with you on the drill team in the parking lot? Talking about, come on, help me work out this number, because that is what I'm doing every week. Listen, I'm trying to figure out, because we doing pretty girls. Pretty girls walk like and turn. Oh, pretty girls walk like. But there's this part in the middle where it's kind of drab, and I'm like, I gotta figure out what to do right here. We're gonna do 16 crunches real fast, like not crunches, squats. Hey, hey. But then what do I need to do right after that? And so I'm still doing that from being with you at power. So yes, there is a blessing in the storm. We should think about that more often. So my mama's energy finally shifted, and I was talking to her best friend. Her best friend reached out to me. I reached out to her. It doesn't matter who reached out to who, I don't remember, but I know that I needed her because she was the closest thing I had left to my mom on this side. And I asked her, I said, do you think that my mother was disappointed because I did not have a husband or a child? Because I wanted nothing more than to see my child and my mama develop a relationship, just like I see her do with my nieces and my nephews. I mean, my nieces and my nephews. I got nothing but nieces, but I do have a grand nephew. Is it a grand nephew? I don't know all this stuff. I know it's my brother's daughter's child. So however that works. And so I really wanted that, and I never. I still feel some kind of way about not having had a baby. So I feel some kind of way. So I was wondering if my mama felt some kind of way. And so I reached out to her best friend and I asked her. And her best friend, Miss Norita, said, she wasn't concerned about that at all. She was concerned about your health. Because I got chronic back pain. Part of the chronic back pain comes from my fluctuation in weight over the years. So when I say over the years, I'm talking about from the time I came out of the womb to where I am now at 54. My weight has been fluctuating since that time for 54 years. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to use that as motivation. So I decided that I was going to lose weight so that my mother would not worry about me so much. Because she didn't worry about my brothers as much because they got wives and children and dogs and pools and houses and cars and motorcycles. But it's just me. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And so in the process of going through this weight loss journey for the last 54 years, this is me right here. If you look at the left with the sumo wrestler called fat, and if you look at Gabrielle Union in the middle called fine, then that's me. I done been both of them more than once in my life. More than once. And so that means that I done lived a different kind of experience because the world has treated me differently based on how much I weigh. I'm not going to try to say that that's what the world does to everybody, but I'm just going to tell you what the world has done for me. And so because I have been up and down and up and down, up and down, right now, I feel like this is my third iteration of life. Like this is my third time living. Let me just say this about Gabrielle Union. I asked this Black King today while I was waiting on somebody to come for Zumba class. I teach a Zumba class every Tuesday. Since it's a free flowing class, there may be participants this week. There may not be participants this week. It may be one this week. It may be five next week. It may be 20 next week. It may be two next week. Like, that's just the nature of what this is. And so I didn't have a participant today because my number one participant had to go to the doctor, because I always have at least one now, but I didn't have any today. So I'm talking to this guy and I was like, King, listen, can you just tell me somebody that you think is fine? A black woman that you think is fine. He says Nia Long. I should have said okay, because I did ask him and he gave me his opinion, but instead I was like, can she be black, dark skinned? Why did I say that? I asked him to tell me who he thinks is fine, and then he told me, and then I'm gonna try to qualify. But I'm glad I did, because it turns out he wasn't trying to say Nia Long, he was trying to say Gabrielle Union. I'm like, how you get them confused? So that's where Gabrielle Union came from, that he considered her to be a woman that he thinks is fine. Okay, that's where that came from. And so I put the two of them side by side because, again, to show that if you look like the if you look like the sumo wrestler, the world is like, "Ugh." If you look like Gabrielle Union, the world is like, "Ah." And so, what does that mean for us, for those of us who look like the sumo wrestler? And even what does that mean for those of us who look like Gabrielle Union? For people to automatically gravitate towards us, I mean, towards her, as if she is wanting to be held up as as the opposite of the sumo wrestler. Like, did she ask for that because somebody says that she's fine? Does she feel that way? Or are we putting that on her because the world says, oh no, this is what you should look like? And so I was thinking about that simply because I'm in several conversations where people are contemplating taking the GLP-1. People are contemplating taking it now that it's in pill form. People are contemplating taking it for just about like 3 months. Like, can I just get this little what they call it, fupa? Is it a fupu? Fupa? You know, that little fat above you, above your private parts if you are a woman. Like, I just want to take it long enough to get it. Like, I'm in several conversations about that now because I am now a walking billboard, right? So to speak, because they're like, get like the woman that saw me Saturday ain't seen me in 2 years. She was like, I wasn't sure that was you. Right. But where does this come from? Where does this notion that to be fat and to be fine are just juxtaposed because you got to be either or? The world is only going to accept you one way or another. Now, I know that the sumo wrestlers get accepted wherever they are for being as big as they are, but in America, you ain't finna be accepted for being that big. I guess unless you're gonna be on my 600-pound life so that people can exploit your weight. Like, I don't know. And so that's what here we are for Beyond the Page to talk about, like, where is that can I find in the Bible dots to connect as to how we got to this place where we are exploiting beauty standards to create division among people? Can I find that in the Bible? That's what the reboot is about. Let's connect some dots to say, uh, maybe you didn't mean to do this, Bible, but that's exactly what's been done. Now, what are we going to do about it? So I want to read to you this story from 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 23 through 25. I'm reading from the Lectio Bible, which means there are no verses. Like, this is the Lectio Bible is in story form, and so there are no verses. So I've just made sure to pull out the part that I know for a fact are verses 23 through 25. And I want to read them to you. But first, I need to set it up. So, this story is about the prophet Elisha. Elisha was like a protege, was like a mentee to the prophet Elijah. And so they were together all the time in ministry doing the work. Like, there's a lot more probably we could say about that relationship, but that's not what this conversation is about. So there came a time in Elijah's life where he was about to be taken up. The Lord was about to come get him. Come on, Jesus. What does CC Wine sing? Come, I don't even know how the melody comes anymore, but the words are "Come, Jesus, come." She's like, "Look, I'm ready. Come on, get us, cause we is messing this whole thing up." And so God is about to come for Elijah to take him to wherever he's supposed to be in home. Because Elijah does not die in the way that we think about people dying. Elijah is, that's the word that is used, taken up and not seen anymore, ever. Can't find him. And so this is what's about to happen, and Elisha is with him. And so Elijah says to Elisha, so the older says to the younger, listen, go on, do what you gonna do, because today I'm finna leave. So ain't no need of you watching this, ain't no need of you being here for this. Go on about your business. And Elisha says, I bet you I ain't going nowhere. I don't care what's about to happen to you. I bet you I ain't going nowhere. I'll be right here with you. So Elijah kept trying to say, go on. Elisha was like, I wish I would. I would. And so he doesn't go anywhere. And so at some point, Elijah is taken up, and Elisha and before he's taken up, Elijah says to Elisha, ask me for whatever it is you want. And Elisha says, I want a double portion of your spirit. And Elijah was like, hey, that's a tall ask. That's beyond my pay grade. So I can't even tell you that I'm going to give you that. If you see me as I'm taken up, then you have been granted your wants. And it was not granted by me, it was granted by God. Let's make that clear. And so Elisha is like, okay. So at some point, here come the chariots. They come to get Elijah. Elijah is taken up. He is gone. Elisha is looking and he sees the whole thing. So he's like, oh, he has the double portion. He's not sure if he has the double portion, so he takes Elijah's coat and he taps it on the bank of the river, and the water spreads. He had just seen Elijah do the same thing with his own coat, so he's like, "Oh, so where is the God of Elijah?" Right here with Elisha. That's where the God is, because look at what I'm doing. So he crosses on over. Elisha goes on over and he gets to this place where he runs into some young men. I don't want to say they're young men, they're young boys. I do honestly think that there's a difference between boys and men. And I really wish that this world would stop telling children who are 18 years old that you are grown. Even 21 years old, you are not grown. Until this frontal portion of your brain is fully developed at what, 25, 26. Even then, you just baby grown. But anything before that, no, you making all kind of bad decisions because you're supposed to, because you ain't got the faculties to make good decisions all the time. So Elisha's with these young boys who are not making good decisions. And so Elisha just doing his thing. Doop doop doop. Wait. What are people teaching me to say? Whoop de whoop. I'm trying my best to learn how to say that. Whoop de whoop. And then the young boys start taunting him, calling him bald head. Come on, Baldy. I see you, Baldy. I see you, Baldy. So that's where we are. I'm going to pull up 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 23 through 25 to see what happens in this interaction between Elisha, who has just received a double portion of God's spirit from Elijah, who was his mentor, and now immediately almost after that, I mean, like in succession after that, he runs into this situation with these young men, and look what happens. So this is 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 23 through 25. Verses 23 through 25. From there, Elisha went up to Bethel. As he was walking along the road, some boys came out of the town and jeered at him. Get out of here, Baldy, they said. Get out of here, Baldy. He turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. Then two bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. And he, talking about Elisha, went on to Mount Carmel and from there returned to Samaria. I feel like I need to read that again. From there, Elisha went up to Bethel. As he was walking along the road, some boys came out and of the town and jeered at him. Get out of here, Baldy, they said. Get out of here, Baldy. He turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. Then two bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. And he went on to Mount Carmel and from there returned to Samaria. Let's just pause and calmly think about that. Let's see line this moment. Okay, so wait a minute, y'all. We just got through listening to this story about Elijah in relationship with his mentor Elijah, who got taken up by God. And as part of their relationship, Elisha was able to ask for one thing. And he asked for a double portion of the spirit that God had given to Elijah so that Elijah's God could be his God, so that he could serve his God. He could serve Elijah's God as his God. That's what had just happened before he went to Bethel. And when he went to Bethel, there were some boys who came out being boys. Young children say stuff. Listen, one of the things I love about children is that they have no filter. I wish grown people didn't have a filter so that we could tell the truth. Not so that you can say whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, and act like it's okay. But so that we can tell the truth. Children tell you the truth. You is bald headed. Now, why is Elisha upset about the fact that these boys call him bald headed? Ain't you bald headed? Actually, I think in Elisha's defense, he ain't bald headed because he get according to the pictures that they paint, which we cannot rely on 100%. But let's just based on the picture, he's got hair down here, so he's like what you call George Jefferson. So he got a George Jefferson. Well, now George Jefferson's hair started up here, but Elisha's like he got all this bald right here, but he got a little something. He got a little rug going down. But if somebody said, "Get out of here, bald," they talking to me, I'm gonna get mad because they call me bald. Ain't I'm bald? And I'm bald by choice. Most people that see me, they think I got alopecia or they think I'm a cancer survivor. When they find out that I did it on purpose, they be like, "What? Why?" And don't let it be a little child. One little girl was like, "Why would you do that?" She was dead serious. She was like, I'll never forget that. She took me so bad. So evidently, Elisha is upset because in his mind, for someone to be talking negatively about his baldness makes him feel some kind of way. It taps into his insecurity about being bald. But why would he be insecure about being bald if it were not a beauty standard already in place in his culture that would make him feel shamed about being bald? Because that's what the beauty standards of our day, that's what they do. They shame us. You look like a sumo wrestler, you should be shamed because you're too big. You ain't got no hair, you should be shamed because you're bald. You ain't got if you got a bunion on your foot. We were talking about that this morning. We had a podiatrist in the house, and she was talking about how she saw somebody that had on some pointed toe shoes, and she was like, "That's really not good for your feet." But the woman was like, "But they cute, but they not good for your feet." But I like the way they look, but they gonna damage your feet. I know that happened. I'm not lying. That happened this morning. So here's the kid said, "Oh, yes, why wouldn't he? Why would he? Why would he be upset about somebody calling him bald when he ain't got no hair on his head?" So there are beauty standards in place. And I know we act like women are the only ones who are concerned about beauty standards, but that is not true. I dated a man who didn't want me to see his feet. What you mean, my feet ugly? So when I finally did see them, they were all crusty and ashy. And I said to him, "I ain't got no problem with the fact that your toes go this way. I ain't got no problem with the fact that you got this big old bunion poking out right here. So you got this kind of action going on. That ain't my problem. My problem is why you ain't putting no lotion on these feet that you think you finna rub up against me. You ain't finna cut me up with these feet that you ain't paying no attention to, because since you think you ugly, they ugly, they don't deserve no attention. That's not what is we doing right now? No, 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 Mr. Good Sir. I got that from Tia. You gonna have to tend these feet. I don't care how you feel about them. You gonna have to tend them because now you in relationship with somebody else who in relationship with your feet. Let's think about this. And so, not only is it obvious that Elisha is experiencing some insecurity about the fact that he's bald, he is so insecure that it makes him mad. So mad that he calls down a curse from heaven on these children. And how is he able to curse anybody? Because he just got the power from his mentor. But your mentor, well, that ain't necessarily true. You just got power from your mentor to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit from him so that you can do work on behalf of your God. And you choose to use that power against some shit. These are young boys, big boys, but you so insecure. You feel some kind of way about your bald head that you done called down a curse from heaven. Takia said that ain't. See, this is what she mean by hooting and hollering. That ain't my problem, but go clean it. Listen, I ain't got nothing to do with how you feel about them feet, but I got something to do with how they gonna rub up against me. You not finna tear my skin up. Go clean them. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you what I did. I actually took him to the nail salon to get a pedicure. He had never had one before. He was ashamed of his feet. I'm like, no, 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 no. We finna do this, sir. Because I feel like this is just how I feel. I feel like if something has been neglected for years and years and years, you need a good starting point. You need a baseline. You can't fix these feet that you ain't touched in years. But we finna go to the people and they gonna do the pedicure. They gonna get all this off. They gonna flake all of that. They gonna callus all of this. And they gonna rub and massage. And we gonna get you a good baseline to start. Now, once you get started, the rest up to you. I ain't taking you back no more. I ain't doing that no more. We gonna get you started. Now you take it from there. Takia said, was he a little egotistical? Because my feelings might be hurt, but I ain't never cursed nobody now. That's a little far. Was he a little I don't know if he was egotistical. I really don't think he was egotistical. I really feel like his feelings were hurt. Oh, wait a minute. Let me rethink that because he just got this power. He just got this power from Elijah. I just got through tapping the river and it separated from me and I walked over on dry ground. So you can't tell me nothing, baby. I know I'm high up on the chain now. The Lord loved me. So he very well might have been. That is a great point. I had not thought about that. But he called, but here's the thing that got me. According to what I just read to you from the Bible, it says, Takia's like, that's what I'm saying. You you feeling yourself. And now they're gonna have the audacity to call you baldy? Well, you must not know who I am. I'm Elisha. I just got a double portion of God's spirit from Elijah. Thank you for pointing that out. I hadn't thought about that. But here's the thing that got me. According to the Bible that I just read to y'all, it says that he looked at them. So you looked at these young boys and you saw how young they are. You know how naive children are. You know how children don't care. They just playing and they don't mean nothing by it at the end of the day. I don't care nothing about you hurting your feelings. They just trying to have a good time. And you looked at them and called down the curse from heaven. And then two bears. I didn't say two cats. I didn't even say two dogs. I didn't even say two wolves. I said two bears came and mauled them. The bears are ripping them apart. 42 young, and it says 42 of them, so some got away. Baby, you talking about somebody who would have been running. Listen, because of my weight in my past lives, because I told you I feel like I done lived this my third life. I ain't no runner. I mean, at one point in my life, I did do a 5K. I've done at least two 5Ks. I'm looking to do another one. But I'm talking about before that. I'm talking about in the times when I've been morbidly obese. Ain't nobody doing no running. But baby, I bet you, I don't care how much I weighed. If I was one of them little boys and that bear came, I bet you I would have outrun her. I would have been Jesse. What was his name? What's his name? Not Jesse Jones. What's the man? What? Flo. I would have been that woman. Flo. I done tickled my toe. That tickled myself. I done tickled myself looking like that sumo wrestler outrunning everybody. Y'all looking for me, but I'm gone. Two bears. Bears. So Takia said that means he was literally seeing red at that point. He was not well. For you to look at children being children and to call down a curse from heaven that brings bears to maul them in front of your face. But listen to this. Bible said as the children got mauled right in front of his face, he went on to he went on to Mount Carmel and went on to Samaria. He ain't even bothered. He went on, listen, he went on doing his godly duties. Went back to and it ended up in Samaria. What the? So the question on the table is for Beyond the Page, the reboot, is can we see how to connect the dots between the Bible becoming a political document and how it is being used to cause division among us, even as Christians, even those of us who call ourselves Christians, but especially those of us who call ourselves Christian versus those of us who don't. Because the Bible has said to Elisha, because your beauty standard is lower than it should be because you bald. Then we're gonna make fun of you and we're gonna shame you and we're gonna make you feel some kind of way. What you gonna do, boo? And Elisha said, oh, you think you gonna check me because I'm bald? Oh, now that I got the power of the living God, who gonna check me is the question. And I bet you can't, little boys, because I'm gonna have you killed. And he had those children killed. And the shame that we are perpetrating upon people, even now in this day and age, because of beauty standards, it is killing them. People are committing suicide. People don't love their bodies anymore. People are doing things to their bodies that are harmful because they're trying to get to a certain place. Look at Serena Williams. Girl, you used to be fine. Now, what is wrong with you, girl? What was you thinking? So Takia says that's the crazy part. Wiped the kids out and then wiped the kids out and then went to do the and ain't missed a beat. He didn't even look back. At least he didn't even look back. He didn't say, he didn't even try to get him. He didn't even say, oh, wait, don't let none of the blood get on me. Because let's think about it. If you are standing in the presence of 42 young boys getting mauled by a bear, blood is flying. I'm talking about it's spattering. When I watch crime shows, I be like, what's the difference between blood spatter, and blood splatter? I don't know, but I know both. What Kevin Hart say on the 40-year-old version? I don't understand the words that's coming out your mouth, so I'm gonna take them as disrespect. So whether it was spatter or splatter, it was all over you, and you standing there. Takia says he had to be power tripping because that literally doesn't even make sense. How much sense does it make in this world for us to taunt children in middle school to the point that they are committing suicide because somebody done said something about how they look, how they act, what color their skin, what their sexual orientation is, their gender identity? Like, how much sense does that make for us to continue to perpetuate these beauty standards that are harmful and traumatizing and not monolithic? Like, you cannot just take beauty standards and put them on everybody. That's not how this works. As a matter of fact, when I learned that scale that we using about how tall you are should tell you how much you should weigh, when I learned that was taken from the specs for a young white boy, I'm like, so you measuring my black, curvy, fine, thick body by some youth, some white male youth, and you telling me I need to be his size and his act, and then because I'm not, I need to go get on a diet? The Bible has beauty standards that are harmful, that caused the death of 42 boys. This world has beauty standards that are harmful, that are causing the death of untold numbers of folks. I see the connection. So Takia said, "Oh, Serena makes me mad every time I think about her. Cause girl, what? Brown skin girl, what? Just listen. When I first, let me just say this. I don't have no problem. I'm an artist, and I'm sensitive about my. That is true. But I don't have a problem recognizing, acknowledging, and naming beauty wherever it is. I picked up 4 or 5 rocks today as I was walking because I thought they were beautiful. I'm looking at them. I'm like, oh, you got a little sparkle in you. Oh, look at how you got some stripes in you. Oh, look at you. Oh, I ain't never seen these colors before together. Like, that's beauty. I'm talking about rocks. So when I look at Serena Williams from back in the day, you can't tell me she wasn't fine. Now, most people be like, oh, if you call a woman fine, that make you gay. No, it don't. That make you be able to recognize beauty. But even if I am gay, what difference does that make? I know how to recognize beauty. But when I tell you, I don't have no problem being with no king. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But I'm looking at Serena. I'm like, girl, look at your thick thighs save lives, and look at your butt. I'm talking about all these. And then she was setting the stand. I mean, she was setting trends. Remember what they couldn't stand her because they couldn't do nothing about it. You can't do nothing about the fact that she fine. You can't do nothing about the fact that how she feeling out these clothes. You can't do nothing about the fact that she got power the way she's swinging this racket, and you can't do nothing about the fact that she running up all of these titles on y'all. You can't do nothing about that. The only thing you can do is shame her. So remember they called them monkeys and dogs, whatever they were talking to her and Venus when they first came out on the scene as youngsters. And I can't help but wonder if that has something to do with her changing her body. Because that had to be harmful and traumatic for young children coming on the scene, just wanting to play tennis. And then here you come with these beauty standards and you are judging me because I got braids and remember they had the little beads on them and the other people were not doing that. They talked about them bad. And look what happened. So I feel like that the way that they treated them has something to do with her journey right now to this soccer mom look, which is the same journey that Elisha is on, saying, I am not going to stand for it another moment that you talk about the fact that I'm bald. I can't do nothing about the fact that I'm bald. Because, this back in the day, they ain't got no. I wondered, could he have done what people do now? Like, just let your hair grow like this. And then you just brush it back. Wait a minute. I'm not laughing at people that do that. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, do you think we don't recognize that you didn't let your hair grow all the way back here so that you could brush it back? We we see that. We you have not you ain't nobody surprised. Like you have not gotten one over on us. Embrace, but why do they do that? Because of the shame of being bald. It's real. He go to Kia. That woman was fine. And that's not all she was. She wasn't just beauty. She had athletic, elite, competitor talent. She's also business minded. She's also a daughter. She's also a sister. She's also a wife. She's also a mother. She's also an act. I don't know if she's an activist, but she's a business owner. She's all of these things. And yet it seems like the only thing that people wanted to shame her about was her weight. And that's what she responded to. Now, that's the way I'm telling the story. She could be, I don't know what went on in her head. I would love to have an interview with her. Could anybody get me an interview with Serena? Can you please? I would love to have this conversation with her. But my point is that the Bible, as political document, says that there are things that are written in the Bible. There are books that were selected on purpose in the Bible to deliver a certain message to us, to control us in a certain way in the name of the Lord, because Elisha had these 42 young boys killed in the Bible says it. You want me to read it again? Oh Lord, girl, call myself in to read something without no glasses. This is what it says. It says, he turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. And so then the Bible as political document, because it is used to control, it gives us permission to traumatize. It gives us permission to divide. It gives us permission to exclude. It gives us permission to exploit. That's what Beyond the Page, the reboot, is about. Let's think on these things. And y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. It's 8:02. Thank you so much for joining us. I really will be right back on next Tuesday from 7 to 8 to talk about Beyond the Page, the reboot, connecting the dots between what we are seeing here and now that was born out of the Bible and how that's political and how it may or may not be harming us. See y'all next week. Wait, you said something about those frames. Oh, really? So something about those frames make you look like your mom. People say the older that I get, I look like my mom. Cause baby, when I was growing up, it was my daddy all the way. That's LV daughter right there. They ain't never say that's Brenda daughter. Now they calling me Brenda. I appreciate you saying that. You know how I feel about my mama. You know I miss her so much. Okay, I'll see y'all next time.